The attorneys for the trailing Democrat candidate claim voting machine count errors.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
It was a good call because we're just blasting through this because what we really care about is coming up. The judge said, deal with it.
When things are wrong, I'll be by your side. Even when you want to cry.
Stop living a lie.
Wow, that was...
This is why we're doing a podcast and not music.
Yes. Yes.
Welcome, everyone.
To the Naked Apple.
And YouTube has decided that it's retarded.
It arbitrarily decided to remove something
Because,
without telling us why.
and part of it is, let's see, I have the thing here.
Because we spoke about the election.
Hi, The Naked Apple. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content, and we think it violates our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy. We know you may not have realized this was a violation of our policies, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. Thanks. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. More Canoes. We realize this may be disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. Is it? Which is why you can still learn how to make pipe bombs and other terrorist type things on YouTube. But never mind all that. If you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal this decision. You'll find more details below. Okay.
Wait, I can learn how to make pipe bombs and stuff on YouTube?
Yep. You can also learn what terrorists.
Where's
think
my
of the world.
VPN at?
So here's the details they gave us. So, explaining why it was removed, naturally. What our policy says, content that advances false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches change the outcome of the U.S. 2020 presidential election is not allowed on YouTube.
That was the episode where we just read a bunch of articles about people claiming things, right?
Yeah, and court cases that
And court cases
were
that were
still
in
pending.
progress.
Yeah.
And
And a study done on those court cases that if they all came to fruition in Trump's favor, it potentially could overturn the election via the votes.
this video is already banned at the beginning because
and
we're
we
talking
don't
about
care
why we got
because
banned.
we're moving to
Rumble. Oh, I screwed that up.
Yep.
Let's get ready to rumble!
What happens when you have 7 banks and you gotta
Yeah.
scroll through all
Yeah.
of them?
But so yeah, this is our last video for YouTube and our first video for Rumble. Naturally, we appealed because they allowed us to. And in the appeal, I should have screenshot it, recorded it, whatever. But it basically said, what is it exactly that violated this? Could you let us know so we actually know what to appeal? They responded with, Hi, The Naked Apple. We have reviewed your appeal for the following content. More Canoes. We reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed that it violates our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy. So you didn't review my appeal because I asked, what is it in the video that violates that?
Be specific.
You did a crime. Okay. Defend yourself. Which crime? What
Where?
crime? When?
What? Why? Why? Why?
We-
Be more specific with your feedback.
After carefully reviewing your response, we've determined that you actually did commit the crime. Basically is what they're telling us. This is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for no. It is not disappointing news because I'm going to repost the video with some of the stuff we're covering today. Because there's no fraud.
And yet.
And yet.
Well, it's not fraud. It's called fortifying. There's a little difference.
It's a different F word.
It's a different F word.
It's a weird way to spell that F word. So we'll get some vitamin B to get our blood pressure down.
Yeah,
Probably
it's about
wise.
time.
Yeah.
It's about time for that, isn't it?
And then we'll get into how there is no fraud.
None.
None.
Zero.
Not even
goose
glitches in systems.
It's
nothing.
Scotch tape. It's so freaking clear.
It's clear. Shout out to Olin Rogers.
I'm not sure he would like us, but we like him. So there's
much
that.
like Ted Cruz loves Princess Bride and they hate him, he still loves Princess Bride.
I still love Princess Bride too, and I'm pretty sure they would hate me as well. So
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyhow.
Let's
Get ready to rumble!
We'll probably abuse that soundbite today because there's not really much of an option, much of a choice to use that.
Yeah, it'll be slightly abused. But let's go do some vitamin B.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the Vitamin B. We have some intriguing news today. Antifa burns down chapel featured in Jeep commercial after learning it's in the center.
That's it. It's not left enough.
Not left enough. It's gotta go. Which is intriguing considering who voiced that Jeep commercial. I'll leave it at that. Today we've got the news impeachment sequel to go straight to DVD. They're back for more impeachment, and this time it's personal. We got an op-ed today. Today's youth simply don't have the work ethic to build the gulags needed for their communist ideals. I can see where this one is going.
I've seen this one before.
I've seen this one before. In your Christian living, we have news. Jim Bob Duggar to become richest man alive following Biden's $3,000 per child stimulus package. It's a lot of children. Do you know who Jim Bob is?
Jim Bob Bojangles.
Jim Bob Duggar. Yeah, he's 65 million kids. It's a lot of money. In your entertainment news, death metal band with writer's block turns to Old Testament for inspiration. Not really sure which death metal band. Oh, it's Thrashing Demon has turned to the Old Testament for inspiration, drawing from Ezekiel 32, apparently.
Okay.
In sports news, Stacey Abrams celebrates her 55th Super Bowl win. That is a lot of Super Bowl wins. I think she might actually trump Tom Brady on that one. Oh, gosh. And in your health news, last but not least, nation prepares to celebrate first anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. That's coming up quick.
Yes.
You got to make sure you're ready for that. With the
Do you have your tree up?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's the small dead one in the backyard.
Yep. It's got all the masks that you used up until this point hanging on it.
Yep. Oh.
It's lovely.
Yeah. So that I think that ends our vitamin B.
It's a light dose.
It's a light dose of vitamin B. Oh, we got one more.
Oh, okay.
Texas. This is local Texas news.
Local Texas.
Texas to vote on whether to force all other states to secede. I think they should vote yes on that one. In other sports news, 138,000 points suddenly awarded to the Kansas City Chiefs as mail-in touchdowns are finally counted.
I knew he didn't have the... I knew Brady couldn't win. I knew it.
And this has been your Vitamin B.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, Vitamin B was a little dark this week, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, they had a rough week because Time Magazine did a thing that we're going to cover. New York Times did a thing. LA Times did a thing.
I mean, how do you come up with good satire when all of the magazines and newspapers beat you to it?
Hey, I got this great satirical article. No, New York Times already wrote that. What?
Wait, what?
Since when did they do satire? No, they're actually that happened. Oh,
I think the Babylon Bee should launch their lawsuit to sue these other news organizations for stealing their material.
right, right.
Yeah.
All right, so there's no fraud, right?
None.
There's none.
Zero.
Nothing. No bad stuff happened in, on, or around the election. None. Zero.
Yeah, it was. There wasn't any.
It was clean and above board.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
So much so that Michigan election officials have been ordered to turn over communications with tech giants.
Huh.
Huh.
Wait, what now?
Huh? What? Hmm? Oh, yeah. Antrim County Circuit Judge Kevin A. ordered Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson and her Bureau of Elections to turn over election-related communications between the offices and Antrim Township, Antrim County, state and federal legislatures, as well as Dominion voting systems and election source companies that supply voting machines and software used in Antrim County and much of Michigan. Wasn't that one of the lawsuits Donald Trump had against Michigan?
I want to say yes.
I'm pretty sure that's in that report that was blocked by YouTube on our More Canoes episode.
Huh.
But yeah.
I mean, we were just trying to read the news. What did you expect? That they would just let us?
And part of what tipped them off was a 6,000 vote error in Michigan there. They're like, maybe we should have a gander at this. Maybe.
Huh.
Maybe.
Huh.
So, yeah. The eventual report claimed Dominion voting machines were intentionally and purposely designed with inherent errors to create a systemic fraud. Their words, not mine. Their words. The unsupported claims were spread publicly by Trump attorneys. This led Dominion lawyers to file $1 billion defamation lawsuits, blah, 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 blah. Except now the courts actually want to look at it.
Oh.
And
that's DiPerno, by the way, with an E. DiPerno.
What did I say?
Nothing. I just read it as DiPorno.
Yep, that is an E. Right there. That's an E. Yep. Good job.
Just want to make sure anybody that's watching as we scroll over that doesn't make the same mistake I did. There's an E there.
It was filed on Friday, January 29th, with a February 2nd deadline for the records to be turned over. However, the judge has since issued an extension allowing SOS until February 8th to submit the documents. I haven't seen any update on this. I'm guessing nothing happened. Because why? But Yeah.
I mean, that was only 7 days ago.
it's only 7 days ago. I'm sure there's
It takes
an
them,
update to that.
what, 22 days to...
And if I did not have 70 some odd stupid tabs on my phone, I probably would have followed up on that story. But yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, where else is there not fraud? Arizona, right? There's not any fraud or anything in Arizona except for the Senate sent a subpoena for the Maricopa County election officials to turn over equipment for an audit. They said,
I mean, fraud might be a stretch. There's definitely irregularities.
irregularity. Yeah,
We'll call it irregularity.
that's the word I was trying to think of.
That's the one that's the one we're going with. Irregularity.
Irregularities, because there's no fraud. There's only irregularities. Or just not even irregularities, really. I mean, there's not, except for the Senate of Arizona is asking a county that was, if I remember right, hotly contested and in question by a certain ex-president on the legitimacy of the vote count there. So the Senate's finally saying, hey, how about we actually make sure that's all what it's supposed to be? And the election officials said, no, we're not filling that subpoena. Oh. Okay. So then an update to this is the Senate reconvened to hear about it. And one of the Republicans that voted for this to happen decided to, let's see, I have it here. I want to use his words exactly. Because I got this update right before we started. This one I have an update.
Ooh, updates.
Yeah.
I like things that are updated.
See. The Senate voted Monday on the measure, so yesterday for us, which was supported by the entire GOP caucus, but State Senator Paul Boyer broke ranks and joined Democrats in voting against it because he said he wanted more time for the two sides to work things out. The 15-15 vote was just one shy of the measure passing, which could have potentially led to the supervisor's arrest, according to the Arizona Republic. Today's vote merely provides a little bit more time for us to work together charitably and amicably as friends, Boyer told the Senate on Monday. The same party that's calling you all kinds of names under the sun because, you supported Trump and his false claims of fraud.
Well, that's all right. At least I didn't support Herbert the pervert in the dementia years.
There it is.
Are you a freshman in the university?
Got a $2,000 check in my pocket.
You can have it if you want to reach in there and grab it.
Let me smell your hair.
Spoiler, there is no $2,000 check in his pocket. And you don't want to know what you're grabbing when you reach in there to grab it.
It's less than 2,000.
You like those $15 minimum wages? I got some in my cellar if you want to come in and get some. Come back here, you fat bastard.
So the Senate subpoenas election officials. Election officials tell the Senate, no, we're not fulfilling your subpoena. The Senate then says, okay, fine. Because we want to work with the other. We want to be peaceable and friendly and courteous to the people that hate us on the other side. Also, the Supreme Court has weighed in a little bit on all this fraud and irregularities that don't exist, and they said they're going to consider election lawsuits in February. Oh, that's this month. Oh, and they're gonna take a couple cases or a few or something, and it'll probably be October when they actually hear them. The reason being the lawyers for Donald Trump saying, hey, we realize and understand that even beforehand, this probably wouldn't have changed the results of the election. But there's some serious issues here, like, I don't know, some states not following the law.
That didn't happen.
We didn't cover any of those stories
That
last
never
week.
happened.
We did not cover those stories last week at all, Virginia. And they said it might be good to actually hear these just so it doesn't happen again. The Supreme Court said, okay, yeah, you're probably right. We probably should hear those things to make sure everyone follows the Constitution.
I mean, when you put it that way.
Yeah. 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 Our legal issue, he's, let's see, who's he? I don't know. Some lawyer guy. I don't see his name.
John Eastman? Or which one are you talking about?
Yeah, John Eastman. Trump lawyer John
Eastman.
Yep. Our legal issue, he said, referring to the way in which Pennsylvania conducted the 2020 election, remains important and in need of the court's review. Yes. If only there was a state or 20 that argued the same thing to the Supreme Court, but didn't have standing. Huh. If the Supreme Court hears any of these election lawsuits, it's likely they won't be heard until October. But there's no evidence.
None.
In a turn of events related to this, so we covered this before. A Democrat in New York just barely lost to the Republican by 100-ish votes. And they decided, the attorneys for the trailing Democrat candidate claim voting machine count errors.
Your Honor, I object
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
because it's devastating to my case.
Overruled.
Good call.
It was a good call because we're just blasting through this because what we really care about is coming up. The judge said, deal with it.
Well, let's be honest. If they had actually listened to that one after denying all of the other ones that were the exact same claim, yeah, might have made people
Might have ruined a fact check or two.
little angry there. But you know what? That's fine because we forgive them.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of forgiveness.
That's the sound of people drowning, Carl.
That is what forgiveness sounds like.
Yes.
Screaming and then silence.
Screaming and then silence.
That sounds about right.
So, what we really
Have we got to the one that I've been talking about all week yet?
probably. So, do you want to read it then?
Is it the time? Is it time?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. This I love this because Time just kind of came out and just said everything.
Confirmed every stupid thing we've been saying since November.
They put the inside voice on the outside. It was, I mean,
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for us.
And that's the dumb thing. It already is paying off for them.
seriously.
Because I've seen people come in. They said in the thing, it's to fortify. Yeah, you can slap as much lipstick on that pig as you want. It's still a stupid pig.
Okay. Yes. Simply dressing up, that somebody went into a, store or something and killed a bunch of people as, late term abortion or something like that doesn't make it any better.
No.
And that's essentially what they did in this. They seriously and the best part is they don't even use the language that colors it that well.
No.
Because okay, so this is my favorite 2 paragraphs of this entire thing. I will read because this is basically the summary of the entire article. The article is really long and very boring, but there's 2 paragraphs that really summarize everything, and it's right before the headline, the header, the architect. the two paragraphs right before that.
All right, so let me throw it up here. So the headline,
The headline itself
the
is
secret
awesome.
history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. Oh,
Interesting.
oh.
Yeah.
So we go down here to.
Go down there until you see.
Well, if we're going down here, let me go.
Oh, was
up.
there's something up further you wanted to read?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you read that part. Then I want to read my part.
So I'll just read the first few here, and then you can read your part. A weird thing happened right after November 3rd election. Nothing. Now, why is that weird?
I don't know, because that's never happened after a November 3rd election before. Except for every time.
Except for we covered the Transition Integrity Project, where they talked about how there'd be riots in the street pretty much no matter who won.
Yeah.
And that started, and then it stopped, coincidentally, around the time that there was a calculating error for Joe Biden to receive hundreds of thousands of votes in a couple of states. The nation was braced for chaos. Liberal groups had vowed to take to the streets, planning hundreds of protests across the country. Transition Integrity Project. Right-wing militias were girding for battle, probably. In a poll before Election Day, 75% of Americans voiced concern about violence. It's because...
That's what everybody was talking about happening.
And there was kind of an entire summer
Of
it
violence?
right before this. Instead, an eerie quiet descended. As President Trump refused to concede, because he was winning November 3rd, the response was not mass action, but crickets. When the media organizations called the race for Joe Biden on November 7th, jubilation broke out instead as people thronged the cities across the U.S. to celebrate the democratic process that resulted in Trump's ouster.
In COVID mass spreader events across the country. Oh, wait,
there's a
no,
handful
that's
of
not,
no mass. Interesting. But the Super Bowl is a super spreader event.
Oh, right.
A second odd thing happened amid Trump's attempts to reverse the result. Corporate America turned on him. Hundreds of major business leaders, many of whom had backed Trump's candidacy and supported his policies, called on him to concede. I wonder if that has anything to do with the World Economic Forum last week. I wonder. To the president, something felt amiss. It was, quote, "It was all very, very strange," Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted.
That is a little strange.
In a way, Trump was right, I might add, as usual. There is a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. So on and so forth. We'll go down to what you have.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's all very long-winded and basically summarized in these two paragraphs along with everything
This
else.
is the inside story of the conspiracy to save the 2020 election.
Love it.
They even use conspiracy.
Conspiracy, yes. The inside story of the conspiracy to save the 2020 election.
Right there. Right there.
Based on access to the group's inner workings, never before seen documents, and interviews with dozens of those involved from across the political spectrum. So Time wrote this article after being involved in a conspiracy to save the 2020 election. So save the 2020 election from what? From the voters?
From who?
Okay, so
Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated. But it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing.
it's not self-executing.
Well, explain
really,
to us
so people don't go out and vote, and then their votes are counted, and the result
counts.
is what comes about. That's not how it works. Magically.
I hope YouTube slaps us for this one. 'Cause
Seriously,
I will
this
repost
is
it and repost it.
bullshit. So the next paragraph is awesome too. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told to get ahead of the history books and tell their own framing of this. I mean, even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes, and this is where it gets fun, to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, so all those illegal changes that we were talking about. Interesting.
So, like election officials changing what happens without the legislature.
Sure, yeah, that kind of stuff, exactly.
Interesting.
To change rules and laws and steer media coverage and control the flow of information, such as suppressing the Hunter Biden story, which a good chunk of Biden voters said that if they had known about Hunter Biden's dealings, they would not have voted for Biden.
Isn't that...
So they were rigging the election. I mean, they were fortifying.
If I knew Joe Biden was corrupt, I wouldn't have voted for him. You think?
You think? They were not rigging the election. They were fortifying it. You got that backwards. You interposed words there. They were not fortifying the election. They were rigging it.
After you
Is
explain
the correction the
exact thing
editor
that
missed
rigging means.
on that one. Because literally what you just described is exactly the definition of rigging an election. Because when you deprive the public of information to sway their vote in a particular direction, that is referred to as rigging the election.
Also known as lying.
Yes. They believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure that democracy in America endures. I do understand the system's fragility. The fact that you were capable of doing this points out to me that there is a flaw.
And
it is the mainstream media.
And getting away with it.
Right? You're not only getting away with it, but posting an article praising themselves about it.
We just want everyone to... We want to be praised in the annals of history. I would remove an N.
Anals. Who's a Nell? My heart hurts. You can't make this shit up, man. Like how the hell? Seriously, we've been talking about shit like this for months, getting flagged and banned and having our shit taken down, and they just post an article.
This was
right there.
Hold on. When was this posted?
Literally right effing there.
February 4th. When did they take down our video? February 3rd.
February 3rd, the day before it came out.
The day after they slap our video off the internet. Of which, by the way, they gave us 7 days to appeal. We appealed on the 4th day, I believe. We still had 3 days, and they pulled the video. Without explanation. And then they go and post our explanation for us.
Yeah. So the rest of this article goes on to talk about the architect, Mike Podhoser.
Podhoser. It's better than the name I thought of. It's his actual name.
Well,
Podhorser.
Potter, whatever.
Mike
and his alliances, the different groups involved, different people involved, and some of the different things that they did, talking about civil and human rights conferences and different things that they use to get their way.
Right here. So, what's the first thing Joe Biden does when he's president? The first executive order he does. One of them.
Murders about 10 to 40,000 jobs. We are not sure exactly how many yet because the repercussions haven't actually fallen.
At least right off the bat, 10,000-ish.
Yeah,
jobs.
10,000 as of this point have already been laid off
And
because of them.
and a good chance that a lot more than that are to come.
A lot more.
And the jobs are in the what is considered the blue collar sector, right?
Yes, union jobs, in fact, which, I mean, Biden was heavily backed by unions.
Which is odd because Trump's election in 2016 credited in part to his unusual strength among the sort of blue collar white voters who once dominated the AFL-CIO, prompted Podhoser to question his assumptions about voter behavior. You know what happens when you assume, Mr. Podhorser? Makes an ass out of you, and that's
Pod
it.
racer?
About voter behavior. Yeah, he did some number crunching. When he began to worry about the election itself, he didn't want to seem paranoid. It was only after months of research that he introduced his concerns in his newsletter in October 2019. The usual tools of data analytics, blah, 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 blah. Most of our planning takes us through Election Day, he noted, but we are not prepared for the two most likely outcomes: Trump losing and refusing to concede, and Trump winning the Electoral College, despite losing the popular vote. By corrupting the voting process in key states, by corrupting, the voting process in key states, corrupt, right? Yeah, the mouse doesn't want to respond. Corrupting the voting process in key states, we desperately need to systematically red team this election so that we can anticipate and plan for the worst we know will be coming our way.
The Fight Back table, huh?
Yeah, Coalition Resistance Organization. Oh, there's the Alliance. It's not only they say, yeah, this is what happened. It's here's all the people that made it happen. Here is your oligarchy, everyone.
Yeah. and then they go on down at the bottom, the disinformation defense. So now they're talking about regular things that happen during an election. So this is actually interesting because this is something that actually does happen in every election since, easy communication has come about. You have people claiming the election has been rescheduled and saying, vote by text and all these stupid things. Honestly, if you're not an idiot, you won't fall for them.
Right.
Because they make no sense, ever. Flyers spreading nasty smears about candidates' families, different things like that. It's one of the reasons I never read any of the flyers because they're always either completely propaganda or completely propaganda. So, just throw the flyers away. They don't mean anything. They're not worth anything. They're stupid.
The Institute's work helped
But-
37 states and D.C. bolster mail voting.
And this is it just keeps going. So they have, this is the reason they start this disinformation defense. And then they say, but Trump's lies and conspiracy theories. Okay, one of his conspiracy theories was that there was a cabal shaping public opinion, changing laws.
Hold on,
So-
wait. There was a cabal. Didn't you just read something?
I did. It was right at the end of, it's that second paragraph right there.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. A well-funded cabal of powerful people working together to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of... That was literally one of the things that Trump was saying that they were calling a conspiracy theory.
And then down here they talk about...
And then down here they talk about how what they did was to combat his conspiracy theories, which were that they existed and that they were doing what they were doing.
Hey, these guys are doing things. No, we're not.
No, we're not. Hey, we did those things, but it was just to combat him saying that we were doing those things. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, see, I seriously, I don't see how anybody reads through this article and is like, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm glad they saved the election.
They needed to do that to save the election.
It's the same fools that cry and complain. Your vote doesn't really count much because electoral college. Blah. Yeah, this is why. And I am 100% convinced this is not the first time it happened, nor will it be the last time that it happens.
Nope.
And since YouTube can pound sand, we are getting the block off of one of our paid videos that nobody's paid for, which covers this happening way back when, just after World War II in McMinn County, Tennessee, where...
We're going to upload that to Rumble too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going up there.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, it's taking our entire library, so we'll see if it takes the blocked videos too.
Oh, that would be nice.
Be interesting.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is the whole article is this. It's one framed piece of bullshit after another. They're literally just trying to get ahead of somebody actually bringing this out into the light in a way that would make people think that it's a bad thing, which it is, and trying to frame it as this Knights of the Crusade saving us from the evils of these people that don't believe what we believe. And what blows my mind is the way that they word certain things, and you're just like, wait, you seriously? That's how you're going to say this? It's like, what was it? There was one earlier. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated.
Yeah.
Proper outcome? What exactly is the proper outcome? Because in my mind, the only proper outcome is one in which all the voters were informed and had all of the news, all of the facts, and voted for what they believed in, and their votes were counted and tallied, and then their electors were sent to represent their votes in the republic that we have. Because we're not a democracy and you can go fuck yourself. Because the co-founder of Protect Democracy, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's one thing I keep hearing from...
Is the guy that said that, by the way. Anyway.
Well, one thing I keep hearing from the Trump impeachment stuff started today, and that's a thing.
That was a...
Yeah, but anyways, a lot of it was because Nancy Pelosi has said, this is destructive to our democracy. Good, because we're not.
We're not a democracy.
So if it's destroyed, good. But yeah, here's another section out of this. We might be here for a minute. Laura Quinn, a veteran progressive operative who co-founded Catalyst, began studying this problem a few years ago. She piloted a nameless secret project, which she has never before publicly discussed, that tracked disinformation online and tried to figure out how to combat it. One component was tracking dangerous lies that might otherwise spread unnoticed. Researchers then provided information to campaigners or the media to track down the sources and expose them. The most important takeaway from Quinn's research, however, was that engaging with toxic content only made it worse. When you get attacked, the instinct is to push back, call it out, say this isn't true, Quinn says. But the more engagement something gets, the more the platform boosts it. The algorithm reads that as, oh, this is popular. People want more of it. The solution...
If that was true, then CNN and all of the mainstream media and all of these people posting all of the insane leftist theories wouldn't have hardly any platform, because the people on the right that disagree with that stuff, they scroll past it and they go find other sources.
Yeah. Well, the solution, she concluded, was to pressure platforms to enforce their rules, both by removing content or accounts that spread disinformation, and by more aggressively policing it in the first place. The platforms have policies against certain types of malign behavior, but they haven't been enforcing them, she says. gave ammunition to pushing social media platforms to take a harder line. Mark Zuckerberg invited 9 civil rights leaders to dinner at his home, where they warned him about the danger of election-related falsehoods that were already spreading unchecked in November of 2019. It took pushing, urging, conversations, brainstorming, all of that to get to a place where we ended up with more rigorous rules and enforcement. So people not working at Facebook changed Facebook's enforcement policies. People who aren't legislatures changed rules around elections. Huh. Huh.
Because it's all part of the plan.
Yep.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that's an article. And so what that was...
I want to read the last paragraph
The
real
last
quick.
paragraph.
The last paragraph.
After I close it, you want to read the last
Yes,
one.
I've got the last one right here. It's
I know,
only
I know,
it's only like
I
2
know,
sentences
but,
long.
But for the sake of the video.
Okay, fine. I'll wait for
Sake
you
of
for
the
the sake
video.
of the video.
The last melon. There we go.
Democracy won in the end. The will of these people prevailed. But it's crazy, in retrospect, that this is what it took to put on an election in the United States of America.
So you said these people instead of
Oh,
the people.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
No.
These people.
Because in context, it's even more stupid. Democracy won in the end.
I fixed it.
The will of
these people.
The will of the people prevailed. But it's crazy in retrospect that this is what it took to put on an election in the United States. It's crazy that you had to manipulate
The election
information.
to get the
Not
outcome
just-
that you wanted.
Not just the election, you had to manipulate information
To get the outcome
to
that
get
you
the
wanted.
outcome that you wanted, not the outcome that the people wanted, by your own admission.
You have stolen the will of the people by removing the people's ability to educate themselves.
You shouldn't toss treason around lightly, but
You really shouldn't toss treason around lightly, but wow.
ooh, we have names. We have what they did. We have spineless lawyers. And judges in the pocket.
Seriously, this is...
It's bad. Welcome to the oligarchy of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Here we thought we were worried about socialists taking over. It's just a bunch of socialist oligarchs taking over. But anyways, so that Time article, what it does, it covers the response to what Trump was doing. And the New York Times told us what Trump was doing. The deep state exists to battle people like Trump. This was the New York Times back in October. I found this while trying to find the Time article, and this one popped up for whatever reason. Thank you.
Oh, yes, this one is fantastic.
Yeah. So this article is a lot shorter, but it goes into some of the history behind getting...
Well, they didn't have, in-depth conversations and things, unreleased documents and stuff to write about.
No, but they do.
Times did. Like,
they do
like
have
the
this.
Time magazine, did.
For the last 2 weeks, this was, again, October 2019. Yeah. Year and a half ago. For the last 2 weeks, diplomats have been walking through secure doors in the basement of the United States Capitol, defying the objection of their politically appointed superiors as they answer questions from members of the House impeachment inquiry. This is from the first impeachment that, since this time, has been proven to be a total and complete farce.
Sham, even.
At best. The inquiry itself began in response to a whistleblower who raised alarms about the administration's efforts to pressure Ukraine for political purposes. That whistleblower is a CIA officer who seems to be, like many of those testifying, a career civil servant. This guy was proven to be a liar via documents with the CIA and the FBI and White House memos. But, whatever. The president and his allies have responded with fury. Those damning testimonials are part of a political vendetta by never-Trumper bureaucrats, members of a deep state bent on undermining the will of the people they assert.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Damning testimonials, huh?
So damning that it didn't hold water. But
or even like Jello,
just
flour.
It whiffed through. It whiffed
rocks.
It whiffed through the air, and it didn't even stir the air.
Didn't hold anything.
It held nothing. What it did hold was we found out that Hunter Biden was doing business in Burisma in Ukraine. That's what that unveiled for us.
That unveiled for us.
That's kind of why they swept that under the rug.
This is great. We should accuse him of being a Russian agent to distract from Hillary's email thing. That's a great idea. Good idea. Yeah. Okay, let's take it to trial. Oh, shit, they found out about Biden.
Oh, crap. Son of a...
Kind of shot ourselves in the foot there. How are we going to fix this? Well, we're going to rig an election, and then we're going to write an article about how we fortified it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in that last thing we read...
The Cliff Notes version of 2020.
In that last thing we read, it talked about how he'd been working for just over a year to make that happen. And October 26th is about how far away from November elections the following year?
About a year.
Huh, interesting.
I see lines that you were drawing between dots. Some of them are making a picture.
Better ban us before that picture's complete.
Right.
And then it goes into history of what is the deep state, and it's something about Ulysses S. Grant, who was a president, in my opinion. Nothing really to shine for, nothing really to get too upset about, but a politician nonetheless. And yeah.
Oh, his closest aide was Orville Redenbacher.
Not quite, no.
Oh, Babcock. My bad.
Babcock.
Close enough.
Yeah. Bunch of quid pro quo references because that's what all they had. He did something for something. He made a deal? Or a transaction was done? But yeah, that's what Trump was fighting was, according to the New York Times, the deep state, because a White House, I don't know if you guys listening remember this, but a White House leaker, someone in Trump's close circle leaked to us, leak, White House leak, and then they turn around, and Trump's White House is unstable. He's firing all these people. You put two and two together, and you have spam, and what was the other one? YouTube.
There's a few provisos, a couple of quid pro quos.
Sorry. You put that all together, and you have some spam, deceptive practices, and scams, I might say.
You might say that.
I might say that. So if you want to go ahead and slap Time Magazine with a ban of sorts, I'll wait. I'm not holding my breath, though. Yeah.
I can't raise the dead.
Well, Biden can. Well, sorry. These people on this secret cabal can.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
They found a way.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the number of dead voters that voted. But yeah, that works too. Either way. Guess
Yes.
heard it both ways.
The answer was yes.
The answer was yes.
So,
Well, after that article,
You are officially handicapped.
that's still one of my favorites that we found.
I didn't even try to find it. I didn't even know it existed.
I didn't even know it existed. Just found it one day.
Found it,
was
and
just
we took it.
perfect. You are officially handicapped.
Thank you. All right, so I did a new thing for our show prep that I think I like really nicely. Things are kind of
It
organized.
does make it kind of easy. I like it.
Yes.
It's fun.
I just happened to pick a week where we had probably the most links.
All of the links, every last one of them.
I went from 60 tabs open on my phone on Sunday when I started this to 70 something tabs open on my phone currently. And this is what we have is condensed. And it's probably 40 or 50 links. And of course, we're not getting to all of them because none of you want to listen to us for 3 hours in a row. No.
But you might listen to us for 2 hours in a row twice a week.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We're figuring that out.
Someday.
Someday I'll be
big enough that you can't hurt me.
Oh, never mind. I'll just pull our server from Amazon. Let's see. So the big focus, of course, is the what we covered extensively last week is the lie of the circus act that is the impeachment.
The soap opera in human form? Is that the one you're referring to? Or
no.
Which lie? Because there were a few of them then.
Soap opera doesn't really describe it well enough.
It doesn't. But it's the closest thing I could come up with.
Yeah, it's bad. So the biggest argument I heard from Democrats so far from their ungodly length 5-hour thing, whatever it is the reason why they can impeach Donald Trump with this via the Senate, convict him in the Senate, is because it started when he was president. So it's just a continuation of the impeachment, which is why they can do this. To which I respond, so if it's a continuation of the impeachment from before, why is there not a Supreme Court justice, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? Why is he not presiding over the hearing? Well, because it's not that. Well, then you're holding a unconstitutional conviction of a private citizen. Well, no, because it's a continuation from before. Then you need the Supreme Court justice. But it's not. It's this dumb circle. So, behind the scenes, what's going on? What is not being covered in the news? We have to talk about this. This probably should have been in a different one, but we talked about it last week, right? AOC and her little thing. I know we did in the pre-show that I put a snip on.
Her lie?
Her lie, yeah.
We talked about it, but it had not come out yet that she was lying.
Right.
So we were trying not to accuse her of lying, even though we were pretty sure she was lying.
And I teased it with...
And we were right that she was lying.
I teased it with at the end of our episode. So usually what you hear in our podcast is the end of the episode is actually what happens before the episode starts. Some snippet of it. Mm-hmm. And Mike was trying to find some little snippet in there that just made him cringe beyond the regular cringe of AOC.
And I couldn't find it.
And he couldn't find it.
So freaking long.
and while I wasn't watching anything, while he's listening, I said, wait. She's not looking at the camera, is she? She's eyes are everywhere. Yeah, her eyes are up and left and all around. She's lying. And it turns out she was.
She was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me open that link there. Crowder did a great breakdown of the timeline for AOC.
He did. It was glorious.
Should we play the thing or should we just read his notes here? We'll read his notes.
Read his notes.
So Wednesday night, Twitter users pointed out...
He's not paying me yet.
Yet. You will be. You will be.
Mostly Canadian Crowder.
Mostly Canadian.
He was born in America, but he grew up in Canada, so he is mostly Canadian.
Mostly Canadian.
Mostly Canadian Crowder.
I like that the...
So I'm pretty sure he was born in America. I think he was born in Michigan, wasn't he?
I believe so. I like that the new hashtag for AOC is...
Alexandria Ocasio-Smollet.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Photoshop of her with Smollett's facial hair? It's great.
So...
I still never understood why he had those guys pour bleach on him.
So people started calling out AOC after her little thing that isn't your office in a different building than the Capitol? She tried to defend it and said the tweets were manipulation. She responded with press email to supporters instructing people to report all negative comments regarding her story. Oh. Then she stated she was not in the actual Capitol building, but claimed the attack wasn't just on the dome. Except, the claim, rioters breached her office. The truth. Representative Nancy Mace's office is in the same hallway as AOC. Nancy confirmed no rioters entered their hallway. Claim, rioters tried to break into the Longworth building. AOC claimed the police officer told her to leave the office in the Cannon building across the street from the Capitol and to go to another building. At 1:22 p.m., the Cannon building received an evacuation notice. At 1:39 p.m., the D.C. police issued this alert. If you are in the Cannon building, take visitors, escape hoods, and go kits, and report to the south tunnel connecting to the Longworth. Further information will be provided as it becomes available. At 1:44, Nancy Mace tweeted, Mace, just evacuated my office in Canada due to a nearby threat. Now we're seeing protesters assaulting Capitol Police. At 1:47, D.C. police announced the evacuation was all clear. AOC would have been evacuated by 1:47.
And that's when she went to the Longworth building.
Yes. From there, she went to Rep. Katie Porter's office, but said the rioters were there too. Katie Porter confirmed AOC hid in her office. There were no videos, photos, or tweets about rioters attacking the Longworth building. Interesting.
Which, if I remember right, is like a block away from the Capitol, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a map here.
Block or 2 blocks, something like that.
Let's see. There you go. Let's see. Outside converters, yes. Security blocks.
Rioters. Second floor. This is all the Capitol building.
Those poor guys had to lay down. Oh, this is one thing, too, that isn't mentioned in here. So they're all talking. They had this little kumbaya session of venting how petrified you were that you almost died. AOC hosted it on the House floor. And there's one dip canoe that talked about how all he had to defend himself was he realized all he had to defend himself was a pencil. I remember seeing a couple of Texas representatives that had broken some legs off of furniture and were standing by the police ready to start swatting at anyone that came through the door. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a difference between career politicians who like to have emotions control them and probably career politicians who like to have facts control them, in my opinion, because God bless Texas.
God bless Texas.
None of that.
All of those things are tags inside the Capitol building, which is nowhere near where
The Longworth building is.
Which is
somewhere off picture.
Want to say south, but I'm probably wrong because my DC directions are terrible.
And it's been a while since you've really had to pay attention.
Yeah.
The only real window we have showing the intense atmosphere AOC described is this video of inside AOC's office building during the riots. Katie Porter explained on the 7th January, I stayed in a House office building with another Congress member and 2 staffers. We barricaded ourselves in with a couch, turned off the lights, shut the curtains, and remained silent. After about 6 hours, crud, we emerged from the office in search of Capitol Police, as none had confirmed our whereabouts and safety. Claim AOC pivoted and now said that pipe bombs were planted near her offices. Truth. There were 2 bombs found, one outside RNC headquarters, 2 minutes from AOC's office, much further away from the Porter's office, and one outside the DNC headquarters, 7 minutes from AOC's office.
Yep.
Huh.
That's
a quick breakdown of the timeline there. She lied. Not only did she lie, she lied to manipulate people to think that it's a great idea to impeach Donald Trump.
I mean, yeah. Hold on one second. I got a thing I want to.
You got a thing.
I got a thing I want to see if this fits here. She lied specifically to influence perceptions, to steer media coverage and control the flow of information.
Didn't we just read something?
Yeah, we did.
Huh. Interesting. So yeah, I had to get out of the way because I was right and I knew it. This was great. The AP fact check, almost fact checked AOC. Almost. They were so close. Post falsely quotes Ocasio-Cortez on Capitol riot. This is how great the AP is. So we mentioned we love the new hashtag for Ocasio-Cortez, the Alexandria Ocasio-Smollet, because Jesse Smollett.
Which is funny because the AP's fact-checking came from a joke, not an actual.
Yeah, the claim, U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, claimed that a Capitol police officer told her this is MAGA country during the January 6th Capitol
Which is
riot.
what Smollett claimed, that the white supremacists that were black men that attacked him with bleach.
Not only that, downtown Chicago, in the middle of one of the coldest periods in winter in Chicago, in the middle of the night, a couple of guys came out of nowhere, downtown Chicago, middle of the night, colder than cold. This is MAGA country. Beat the snot out of him, put a noose around his neck, and dumped bleach on him.
Yeah. It didn't make sense from the beginning.
While he was walking home with a Subway sandwich in his hands.
My favorite skit of that was Dave Chappelle's. We are supporting him. We're supporting him with our silence. He's clearly lying.
Yeah. The AP's assessment, false. Ocasio-Cortez never quoted the Capitol Police officer saying these words. In an Instagram live video about her experience, blah, 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 blah. It's a meme. In reference to another thing that you falsely fact-checked.
Which is hilarious.
Holy crap.
They just fact-checked a meme, which is...
They fact-checked a meme.
The trolls on the internet, when they saw this, had a heyday, I'm sure.
Of course, these are the same people that... it wasn't QAnon, it was... I can't remember who it was. It was like 4 years ago. Someone was making a big big to do about something that was 4chan.
Ah, yes.
Someone was making a big to do about something that happened on 4chan. I think it was the frog thing, the paddle frog.
Yeah.
And then
that was stupid.
Someone
and
got
funny.
on 4chan and said, "It's crazy how quickly these people grabbed onto this joke that you guys did." So how long do you think it'll take them? How long do you think it's something that I give you a week to make the OK symbol a bad symbol. 3 days later, the OK symbol was a symbol for white supremacy.
Banned from YouTube forever. Because I just did that on camera. Also, for those of you of my close friends, I expect you to be honest about this later. Gotcha!
All three of the people that watch it on YouTube.
It's going to be you twice later.
Speaking of all that too, if you listen on Facebook, I don't think that's getting counted in our stuff.
Probably not.
Because I found a thing on the tablet version of Facebook. It shows the number of views our videos are getting, which is just audio recordings in video format for YouTube. Mm-hmm. And just two videos that were two of our podcasts last month had just as many views on them as we had total downloads for the month. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening on Facebook, do us a favor. Don't.
Also,
listen on any of the podcasting platforms.
Also, as we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, we are switching to Rumble and also to Odyssey and probably posting on Gab.
Yep. We will still keep our Facebook thing up because there's a lot of people there and blah, blah, blah. YouTube, nope. Because they're just probably going to keep doing what they're doing.
And Facebook really hasn't hit us that hard yet, so...
They slapped us once and we told them to pound sand and they haven't slapped us again, so...
Hopefully it stays that way. Otherwise, we'll probably start taking stuff off of there, too. It's because we don't have money to fight legal battles. We aren't getting paid for this, so...
However, if you go and watch us on Odyssey, we do get paid for that.
Yeah.
Because it's some crypto something or other thing that you get paid with people watch and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So that's a way you can help. Even if you just push play and walk away from your computer.
Not that we would advocate that because, well, actually, no, we don't care. Go push play and walk away from your computer. I'm fine with that.
If you want to support us and you don't have money in your wallet to do it, do that. That'll work.
Repeatedly.
Yes.
The more times you view it, the more views
from
we
different
get.
devices, so it looks like it's coming from different places.
Throw a song in the background at work, mute the channel, and just let it go.
Let it fly.
All of your friends' computers at work.
I mean, writing code isn't that hard. You get the whole server playing that.
Especially if you're an IT guy. It'll be great.
So I'm told.
It'll be great.
Yeah, so other things happening in the background.
Oh, God. So many things.
I think that top one and then the Supreme Court one, I think, are the uppity ups.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Agree?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
HR 127.
HR 127. They're not coming for your guns.
If you haven't heard about this yet, you should have.
And you should have read the whole thing.
You should have read the whole thing, and you should have already written an email, a nasty email, to your representatives.
Not a threatening email, just a nasty email.
Nasty.
Strongly worded. Yeah, it's a proposed bill under the name of Thapika Chic Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. Oh, just the title of the bill doesn't sound good. Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. Cool.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for
Sheila
real.
Jackson Lee. Why Texas keeps sending her, I do not know, but I think she's over Dallas or something like that. I think that's her district, which
Something
is
along those lines.
blue. To provide for the licensing of firearm and ammunition possession and the registration of firearms and to prohibit the possession of certain ammunition. Oh, licensing of firearms and ammunition.
Yeah, my favorite part of this is, I'm skipping ahead here.
Well, yeah, skip.
My favorite part of this is that she has in here AR-15s and the like, and the 50 caliber ammunition that goes with them.
Yes, because everyone knows that AR-15s fire 50 caliber rounds. It's common knowledge.
Like, you don't know enough about firearms to write this bill. Like, you have zero ability to tell me anything about guns if you're making that connection.
Yeah. So under this bill, if it becomes law, this is what you'd have to do right here. Information required under the firearm registration system. The owner of a firearm shall transmit to the Bureau the make, model, and serial number of the firearm, the identity of the owner of the firearm, the date the firearm was acquired by the owner, and where the firearm is or will be stored. The bottom of the deepest lake in my state. That's where it is.
That's where it is. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I
Tragic boating
know that
accident.
somewhere out there is a libertarian hero that, if this ever passed, would send in the information that would be the make of the gun would be something silly. The model serial number would probably be binary for FU or something like that.
Right.
And then the name of the owner of the gun would be Gunny McGunface.
Yeah.
In fact, I might actually do that if this ever passes.
You know what?
You know what? You're going to get it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to get it.
Provides deadlines for everything.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
How the database should be set up. And then licensing. Here's the requirements. You have to be 21 years old. Done. Period.
That's
21.
already a thing.
Well, if you want a shotgun, you don't have to be 21. If you want a rifle, you don't need to be 21.
To purchase them, you have to be 18.
Yeah.
Handguns are the ones that are 21.
This has to attain 21 years of age.
Yeah, for all of them.
For all. Now, you can join the military at 16 and learn how to drive a tank, shoot javelin missiles, and operate nuclear submarines. But you can't be trusted as a private citizen to hold a pistol in your hand until you're 21 years old. Huh.
Well, I mean, that's the age you can drink, too, so those things go hand in hand.
Firearms
and alcohol. And you should do them at the same time.
Winning combo.
That is a 21st birthday party to be remembered.
Yeah. So once you apply for the license, you have to undergo a criminal background check. Okay.
You already have to do that?
Yeah. Conducted. Well, yeah.
Yeah, already have to do that.
Well, this is to get the license, not just to buy the gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you now have to do it twice.
Yeah. There we go. Undergoes a psychological evaluation conducted in accordance with paragraph 2, and the evaluation does not indicate that the individual is psychologically unsuited to possess a firearm.
That's stupid.
Oh, a psych eval. Oh. Paragraph 2.
No, you look like an idiot.
Yeah. Paragraph 2, psychological evaluation. A psychological evaluation is conducted in accordance with this paragraph if the evaluation is conducted in compliance with such standards as shall be established by the Attorney General. So whoever the Attorney General is
the one that
decides
makes
what the psych eval qualifications are.
Okay. Isn't that's an elected position, right? So we can choose.
Yeah, you get to choose who the Attorney General. Oh, wait, no.
No, you don't. Nope.
You get to pick the president who might pick the Attorney General that you prefer to have.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
For real.
For real.
The evaluation is conducted by a licensed psychologist approved by the Attorney General. So you can't just get Phil next door, who's a licensed psychologist, because you know Phil likes to go shooting with you. You have to get an approved person by the... Yeah. As deemed necessary by the licensed psychologist involved, the evaluation included a psychological evaluation of other members of the household in which the individual resides. Oh, so not just you. And remember, this is just to get the license to buy the gun and to buy ammunition for your gun.
Just for the license.
Just for that. As part of psychological evaluation, licensed psychologists interviewed any spouse of the individual, any former spouse of the individual, because nothing says promote my character like a former spouse. And at least two other...
Do it, and you can't make me.
Exactly. That's true. And at least two other persons who are a member of the family of or an associate of the individual to further determine the state of the mental, emotional, and rational stability of the individual in
Relational
relation to
stability.
Rational.
It's relational.
This is irrational.
This is irrational. You are correct, but that word is relational.
Stability of the individual in relation to firearms. Yeah. And then successfully completes a training course certified by the Attorney General in the use, safety, and storage of firearms that includes at least 24 hours of training and demonstrates that on issuance of the license, the individual will have in effect an insurance policy issued under subsection D. That insurance policy is an $800 fine you pay to the Attorney General every year for your license.
Mr. Mattis just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
The other fun thing with this. So, that license and your firearms registered, right? If at any point someone other than the owner / authorized user uses that weapon, you can be fined and have your license revoked and have your guns taken away.
Yeah.
And or be arrested. So you can't take your child out to teach them how to shoot.
Or your wife.
Or anybody related to you.
Or your friend.
Nobody else can ever handle that firearm but you. If you leave it in your vehicle and somebody steals your car, you can get fined and go to jail for them having possession of your firearm. If somebody breaks into your home and steals your gun safe, you have one of those little like handgun ones?
Yeah.
They steal your gun safe? You can get fined and or go to jail for them possessing your firearm.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. And then they go on to explain military-style weapons because they're not covered.
Yes.
Military-style weapons are defined as follows. Any of the firearms or copies or duplicates of the firearms in any caliber known as Norinco, Mitchell, and Poly Technologies, Kalashnikov.
Kalashnikovs.
AKs.
Great guns.
An AR-15, if it doesn't fire, slide the thing back again, it'll fire. AK-40, an AK, smash it with a rock until it fires.
And if that doesn't work, fill it with sand and try again.
Yeah.
It'll eventually fire.
Action Arms Israeli Military Industries Uzi and Galil. Wait.
Aren't those already?
Well, I think it's very anti-Semitic to ban Israel firearm makers from being able to
I think it is too. I would personally love to own an Israeli firearm. That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. Uzis are fun. I fired an Uzi once. Beretta AR-70, Colt AR-15, specifically named Colt AR-15.
Huh.
You know what's going to be hard to find anymore?
Colt AR-15s.
Fabrique Nationale FN FAL blah 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 SWD.
The fall.
Yeah, Star AUG Intertech Tech 9 Tech blah blah blah. Revolving cylinder shotguns. You can't have a revolver
The
shotgun.
street sweeper? They're illegal. The street sweeper is being illegal? What?
Well, that's
What about the room broom? Is that still illegal?
It's a lot of jobs that are gone with this bill. The street sweepers.
This is street sweeper. We have an entire division at my work that is now completely toast.
And in case you're thinking, well, my gun isn't on that list. Well, a semi-automatic rifle that has an ability to accept a detachable magazine and
A
has
folding or telescoping
two of these.
stock.
So an AR model, okay, which is the most popular rifle in America right now, is the AR platform. A folding or telescoping stocks. How many ARs don't have those?
-2.
-2. So California.
Yep.
A pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon. All ARs have that. A bayonet mount. Not all of them have that. That's a unique thing. A flash suppressor or threaded barrel designed to accommodate a flash suppressor. All ARs. So done. Right there. All ARs are banned with...
A grenade? Who has a grenade launcher attachment, and where do I get one?
What's funny about that is grenade launchers fall under the National Firearms Act already. You need a...
I've always said that the ATF should be a convenience store, not a government agency.
Yes. But yeah, if you want to have a grenade launcher, you already have to get a special license in order to have
Isn't it a class 3?
Yes.
Yep. You have to get a class 3. The same thing you have to have in order to operate a
machine gun.
Well, not operate. You can operate a machine gun at a licensed dealer or gun range.
Right. But to own one,
you have to have a class 3 license already.
So what she's, since she doesn't know anything about firearms, the grenade launcher in question is actually a flare launcher that you can attach to your AR or anything that has any kind of Picatinny rail or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's a different diameter than a grenade launcher.
Yes.
So I think it's smaller than a grenade launcher, so you can't actually launch grenades with it. I think the grenade is like 115 millimeter or 110 millimeter, and then the flare launcher is like 90 millimeter, something like that. I'm probably wrong, most likely wrong.
37 mm, I believe.
Yeah, this is how much I know communist measurements. All ARs are banned outright because pistol grip and ability to...
Whereas a grenade launcher is 40 Mike.
Yeah, so it won't fit.
Nope.
And then pistols are banned if an ammunition magazine attaches to the pistol outside of the pistol grip. So if you're one of those people that like to have a magazine attached to your pistol because it's kind of nice to have an extra magazine attached to your pistol, you can't have that. Well, you can have that. But if you have anything else like a threaded barrel or a shroud...
50 ounces?
Or if it weighs more than 50 ounces.
Unloaded. That's not...
Or if it's a semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm.
That is like all semi-automatics?
It's like most pistols, yeah.
Everything? They have an automatic shotgun. They have an automatic...
Yeah, and then shotguns, folding or telescoping stock. Basically,
fortunately for me, I don't have to worry about this because all of the things that I have that would have been made illegal by this bill were lost in a tragic boating accident that I had.
Same.
last summer.
It hinders a lot of purchases I want to make. But
it does.
Yeah, for semi-automatic shotguns, a folding stock or telescoping stock, and that's on shotguns. I'm more of a break action shotgun myself, but I wouldn't mind a tactical.
I like magazine shotguns.
Those are fun. A pistol grip that protrudes. A lot of shotguns have that. A fixed magazine capacity in excess of 5 rounds. There you go. An ability to accept a detachable magazine. Darn. One thing is they don't have anything on here for a shotgun, a suppressor.
Well, that's a
they do
plus.
For the rifle.
Do
and
they
pistol.
have anything about sawed-off shotguns?
Nope.
Aren't those already illegal?
It's a class 3.
It's a class 3
technically. Well, no, it's not class 3, but you need a SBR for it. Not SBR, but short barrel license.
Yeah, short barrel. Right.
Tax. Short barrel tax.
Short barrel tax.
Yeah.
So you can't just take the one that you have and saw off the end of the shotgun and not pay the tax on it.
Yeah, then all the stuff on all the fines and whatever you pay because of stuff. And
so can you send them the rest of the barrel as the tax payment?
Just recycle that. You'll be fine.
you require a 30% tax. Well, here's 30% of my gun. It's Is that frowned upon?
Is that okay? So normally things like that have been introduced and never even looked at by the House. And normally I wouldn't be all that worried about it. But we're not normally right now.
Yeah. They have full control of everything right now.
Of course, that being said, they passed up the $15 minimum wage.
Well, that's because they wanted to give $3,000 a person to Yemeni or whatever the hell other country.
Yeah. But so that came out, and then an article came out that made it even more terrifying. The Supreme Court is going to hear a case on whether or not police can enter a home to seize guns without a warrant. So a bill is introduced where you have to tell them where all your firearms are stored, including historic firearms. We didn't cover that in there, but it says if you have a historic firearm display, you have to say where it is displayed and how it is displayed.
Yes, so the whole, the Constitution only applies to muskets and things like that. You now have to register those two.
Yeah.
So there's no firing grape shot from the top of your stairs and then charging somebody with a bayonet.
Just as the founders intended.
There is no founding father's intention anywhere in any of these bills.
Yeah. Yeah. So the case, they tried to preface the idea behind this with some instances in which a police officer can enter a home without a warrant to thwart crime, basically. So if a police officer is going by and they see in the window someone's about to get stabbed or shot or whatever, an officer has legal authority to go into that home and stop the crime from happening. And it makes sense because they are stopping the act of someone taking away any and all rights of another person, including the right to life. So I can agree with that because, I don't know, it's kind of nice to not have people get killed.
I do not agree with the fact that also leads to an exception allowing a warrantless search of the property after stopping that.
Right.
However, those exceptions do allow a warrantless search of the property after that. So
that's what happened with this case that's being brought to the Supreme Court. So what happened is this guy and his wife got into an argument, and it got so heated that he took an empty handgun, placed it on the table, and he said, "Just shoot me and get it over with."
He is a drama queen.
Well, bet. And
The gun was empty, however. So
The gun was empty. The police told him probably should go to the hospital and get checked out. And the police didn't go with him. They stayed there. And they told his wife that her husband, she told the police that, he's got a couple of guns in the house still. And the police told her that her husband okayed them to confiscate the firearms. And so...
when he never did.
Except he didn't tell them to do that. And so now this case has made its way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to decide if it's okay for police to just take your firearms. Now, this by itself would kind of be an case because it would be tied to they were there and the firearms were involved, so they're going to take firearms in the house that belong to that person. But you tie this in with a bill that's got mandatory registration of not only the firearms you have, but where you are storing your firearms. And then you have the Supreme Court case with police being able to take firearms without a search warrant. Something about a Second Amendment and a Fourth Amendment.
What amendments? What Constitution? What are you talking about?
No, just dusty old document. That's nothing.
They have full control. They don't need to care about any of that.
Right.
Say goodbye to the Electoral College.
Yeah.
We're going to pack the court.
Pack it. Pack it
And guess what? You're never going to win another election.
Never.
Ever.
They told you how and why.
Yeah, because they have a shadowy cabal that is
save democracy.
Saving, fortifying our democracy.
That we don't have. Shouldn't have, I should say. That we should not have.
We should not have a democracy.
And technically, by what they did, we do not have a democracy because a group of powerful elites decided what government should be. So that's in a oligarchy.
Oligarchy, yeah, that's the word we're looking for. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Which usually is closely associated to socialism and
communism. Yeah,
communism and fascism.
Funny thing I learned today. Was it China or it might be Russia? It would make sense if it was Russia. The name of their vaccine for COVID is just the Sputnik 5. The height of the Soviet Union, crowned by the Sputnik.
Go get them, Ruskies.
Get them.
Get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh,
where to go next?
I think we'll just kind of run through our little summaries of them.
Yeah,
because there's a lot.
Probably not a good idea.
Oh, the survey thing.
Oh, which one was that? That was the education one. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we'll have to put that in a file share thing to be able to.
Yeah, I have another file thing for us to share too. I have the
might be able to just post it on our one of our websites.
The House trial brief. I have the PDF, the 80-page PDF of the House trial of the impeachment.
Oh,
all 80 pages. In case anyone was interested in that.
Yeah, because that's not full of lies.
Well, it's full of the sources for their lies, which is really interesting.
Full of the sources of the lie. Oh, so it's fine then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it talks about how they got all of their information from news articles and
a mix of tweets. A mix of news articles, right?
A mix of news articles from CNN and The Hill and
none of those.
And let's see, authors such as the fantastic Ryan Goodman, who wrote Incitement Timeline, Year of Trump's Actions Leading to the Attack on the Capitol.
Wow, he wrote that?
He did write that.
Wow. And published it.
Yeah, he did.
Huh.
Did indeed.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. A lot of
None of which are Democrat supporters or Democrat donors, right? None of.
almost all of them are yes.
Oh wait. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of interesting footnotes.
Yeah, but don't look at the footnotes of
The funniest ones are the footnotes of tweets.
Oh.
Because tweets are now a legitimate source for
And of course they cite
law
they
proceeding.
cite some of Donald Trump's tweets on what he's they
just the one where he said we should peacefully and patriotically walk to the Capitol.
Oh.
Because that's the one where he incited everybody to.
Except they didn't cite
But I don't think he tweeted that. I think that was part of his speech, wasn't it?
It was part of his speech.
Oh.
And there's also the little itty-bitty issue that his account doesn't exist anymore, so you can't get any tweets from Donald Trump to put on the public record.
Yeah, so your sources here are Washington Post, New York Times, Associated Press, The Hill, New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times,
Daily
Roll
Wire.
Call, New York Times, Twitter, NBC Washington, Twitter, Donald Trump rally notes, Twitter, New York Times, Twitter, Washington Post, Twitter. Yeah. That's
So at
New
what
York
point do
Times,
they use
yes.
Wikipedia?
They NPR. There's a mix in right there.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
Let us just use the Cliff Notes version of this article written by a government employee. Washington Post, NBC News. There's a Shapiro here.
Oh.
Rich Shapiro.
Oh.
From NBC News.
Oh. Well. They tried.
They tried.
They tried.
The Daily Beast.
The Daily Beast.
The Daily Beast, because that is that far right Fox News. Found it. Found the one. There's the token.
Oh.
Caitlin McFall.
That's how much we care about it. So, some of the other stuff we have that we wish we could cover, but we won't, because next week is a whole nother plethora of garbage. In the education section of stuff, some bad Black history happened, where some Wisconsin teachers are in a little bit of trouble because they did a little worksheet thing for their students on how would you punish your slaves. Yeah, that's a good one to do, especially in 2020.
By forcing them to listen to impeachment proceedings for hours on end.
Now that's cruel and unusual.
Pretty sure you'd get arrested under the Geneva Convention for that one.
Even the Nazis weren't that
Even
cruel.
the Nazis weren't that bad. Ooh.
I kid. I shouldn't kid.
I
but
joke,
that's-
I kid.
It's Chicago must open schools, according to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She's suddenly grown some sort of spine and told the teachers' unions to pound sand and open the schools. I'm pretty sure the follow-up to that is teachers' unions said, no, give us more things. Give us this for free.
Yes.
And teachers' unions have lost Bloomberg as a supporter. Now, when you lose Bloomberg as a progressive organization, how far have you gone?
Yeah. It's great.
And then
we have also in the education, we have acquired a survey that was passed around to teachers in Utah. That is extremely interesting.
It's uplifting, is what it is.
It really is. Really is. It's it is a philosophic inventory, is what they call it. It starts out saying the following inventory is to help identify your educational philosophy. Respond to the statements in the scale from 5, strongly agree, to 1, strongly disagree, by circling the number that most closely fits your perspective.
Okay.
And I mean, this is very, very vanilla, very innocuous,
naturally,
survey. There's nothing untoward in this at all. For instance, there's, let's see here. Let's just pick a couple of random questions and see what we get here. Okay, so question number 6. Schools should actively involve students in social change to reform society. Nothing too belligerent in that.
Number 4, education should emphasize the search for personal meaning, not a fixed body of knowledge.
Yeah, there's that one. Number 10, the best teachers encourage personal responses and develop self-awareness in their students. There's some good things in here. This is good.
12, schools should lead society toward radical social change, not transmit traditional values. Wait, what?
Yeah. We should be constantly trying to change everything about everything we are.
Change our traditions.
Change our history. Some of those things, because heaven forbid that we should ever steer schools away from helping the students to develop these social reform abilities that are so necessary.
Oh my gosh. Schools should emphasize discipline, hard work, and respect for authority, not encourage free choice.
That was question 19. Question 20 is much better. It's completely different. So here we go. Right. Human learning can be controlled. Anyone can be taught to be a scientist or a thief. Therefore, personal choice is a myth.
Education should lead society towards social betterment, not confine itself to essential skills. Wilhelm, you cannot scream loud enough to emphasize the feelings I have.
Are you sure about that?
Don't blow my ears out.
I can make them scream pretty loud.
Yeah. Look at this sneaky thing here. 25. Teachers should efficiently transmit a common core of knowledge, not experiment with curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that we've read are pretty bad. They do actually have some in here that I agree with.
Right.
Such as, hold on, let me find one. Hold on. I know there's one. I know I read it earlier. Hold on. Let me find it.
Schools should teach basic skills, not humanistic ideals.
Yeah, that's a decent one. Yeah, here we go. Teachers should create opportunities for students to make personal choices, not shape their behavior.
But there's no free choice.
Yeah, right.
Teachers should be facilitators and resources who guide student inquiry, not managers of behavior. Yeah. Because if a teacher is focused on managing behavior of one or two students, the rest of the class suffers. Yeah. So yeah, there are good things in there, but there's some things that make you...
They are much fewer and further between than the ones that are...
You only had to scan the paper thoroughly to find the one you were looking for.
Right. And I mean, the funny thing is, like, they have some on both sides of the aisle here that I'm like, okay, neither one of those is correct. It's like the curriculum should be the same for everyone. The collective wisdom of Western culture delivered through lecture and discussion. No, that's inaccurate. That is not the way people should learn. People should learn truth and should learn actual things, and they should be told the difference between what is a theory and what is... this has been hard proven, which the grand majority of things that we know are theory. There is very little that we can teach people that is proven. You're whittled down to basically math in that category. And even that eventually hits a gray area.
We're not necessarily concerned about if the student gets the answer right, so long as they can describe how they got that answer. I'm sorry, but 1 + 1 is never 5. It's not. It never is. So, little Johnny, you're wrong. But this is how I got it. Yeah, you did it wrong.
Yeah, you did it wrong.
This is
and
how
but this is the key to that is it shouldn't just be you did it wrong, because that's what we had in school. It was you're either right or you're wrong, and we don't care.
And we turned out fine.
And we turned out fine, kind of. I still suck at math. At least I think I suck at math. So, but and this is why I've always hated public schooling, because it is so impersonal and it is so. Everybody is taught the same way by the same teacher, whatever. And it's not, they just don't have the resources or the time or the capability of tooling it to the individual students.
Yep.
And they don't have the time to go through that sheet, that whatever assignment, and say, yes, you got this one wrong, but this is why you got it wrong. Here is your error. Go back and fix it, and then you'll know for the next time.
Yep, and a good teacher will know multiple ways to teach the same thing, not just whatever's in the textbook.
And this is the thing that I think is hilarious, because you have the two totally different sides of the spectrum here. You have those that are, okay, well, then I'm going to either pull into a private school or go teach homeschooling, but at the same time, those aren't perfect options either, because they don't expose... in my opinion, they don't expose the child enough to external sources,
right?
To other points of view and other ways of doing things.
Yeah,
public schooling is not a perfect option because it's impersonal. It's often corrupted by government influence, the Department of Education, the teachers' unions, all these different things, and the teacher themselves. They have this influence that is, it is an authority figure that doesn't necessarily always have the right answer.
No matter how hard you try, you're going to have a bias.
Exactly. Yep. And that's both sides of that. So where do you meet in the middle? Where is we have these external influences, and we have the family influences, and we have this mix that allows the child to determine for themselves which way works for them and which things they believe in.
Right.
And to follow those things that they see as right.
Right. And for example, my wife and I chose years ago, before we even had kids, that we would probably homeschool if possible. If not, then they're going to some private school or something like that. Not public.
I took the easy way up. I didn't have kids.
There's also that. But I'm
don't have to struggle with the decision if I don't have to make it.
I'm a little past that decision making now.
That's valid. There's... No, I'm not going to go there. That's a really bad joke. Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
And filter.
You could always join the Democratic Party.
But an ideal setup for like a homeschool situation is it's not just you at home teaching the kids, it's you and other parents that also decided to teach from home, and you rotate the kids through those different parents. So they're getting, in that respect, they're getting some sort of other view of things. Most likely it's going to be similar to what your personal view is, because that's generally what happens.
You pick the people that are in your group.
Especially among homeschoolers. But then on top of that, because a lot of the complaints concern with homeschooling is they don't get the social thing of public school. I hated the social thing of public school. It was gross.
Yeah, I was never good at the social thing of public school either.
But outside of that, with homeschooling, again, if you're partnered up with other parents that are doing this, your child is interacting with the kids of those parents, of those other parents. And so they're getting socially involved that way. And then they're usually involved in some sort of scouting type program or church program or something like that as well. So they're getting social experience that way. And then there's also homeschoolers go on a lot of field trips because they don't have to do stupid things to bake sales or sell these chocolate candy bars that taste like garbage to have 25 cents of the sale go to a field trip. They don't have to do dumb things like that. They can just be like, hey, how about we go to the museum that costs $2?
Right.
And they all pile up in a couple of cars and go to the museum and learn things at the museum. They even get a guided tour because, hey, it turns out you can get those for really cheap at the museums, if not for free. And then there's also just going out in nature and learning things about nature and all this stuff like that. So I don't know where I was going with that, but there's options that aren't just succumbing to the school. And if you don't, one thing I thought of.
That took a turn to the lawyer and the Trump impeachment this morning real quick.
That's rude.
How dare you?
Dang, sir. No.
He knows what I'm talking about.
You don't
it's
get,
funny.
You don't get my final thought.
Oh. Oh.
No, I thought about what rights are you losing? You're not losing any rights. There's no rights being lost, being taken away. If you have a child that's about to start school, so at least here in Utah, kindergarten is optional. First grade is required, quote unquote. Don't register your kid for first grade and don't send them to school for first grade and see what happens. You get a knock on your door from Child Protective Services. Why are you abusing your child by not educating them? See, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to ask the state for permission to teach your child yourself by filling out some paperwork and all that stuff, and they'll be like, okay, yes, you can teach your child at home. You don't have to use the public system.
Because you need the government's permission to do something with your own family.
Yep. And by the way, we're still taking taxes from you to pay for public school.
Regardless of whether you have children or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I pay taxes for public school.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have kids.
Yeah.
It is something that has chafed me since the day I bought a house.
So you know what you should do? Get on the school board so you get that money back.
Oh, that's where you were going. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say storm the city capitol building and
the city capitol building.
Oh, wait.
No. Just get on the school board, make some decisions, and then get compensation for being on the school board to offset the taxes that you pay.
My decisions would be epic. Like we should have Kool-Aid in all of the water fountains.
Mike for class president.
You can call me Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds. All right, some of the other stuff we got. In the China virus category, I'm going to say China virus because Biden thinks that he can
I'm going to call it the China virus because it came from China.
China. Biden signed an executive order saying it's uncouth to say China virus.
The CCP virus.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
Chinese Communist Party virus.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No, I know that one. I was just trying to remember. Someone mixed Chinese and communist together, and it was perfect.
Communist?
Chinese? I don't remember. It was perfect, whatever it was.
I don't remember what it was, but it was grand.
I'll also accept the Wuhan flu and the Kung flu. But on that front, Rand Paul and what's his name? Rand Paul and
Ted Cruz.
No.
Holly.
No.
Sass.
Massey.
Surprised you didn't bite my head off for suggesting sass.
Yes.
I was expecting a reaction out of that.
I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to find Massey's name. Rand Paul and Massey are calling out the CDC for lying.
Oh, because they did.
They did. Specifically about vaccine information, because the CDC, as I think I pointed this out. We did last week. Pointed out, and then Rand Paul talks about it. We're ahead of the curve again.
Sometimes.
But yeah, there's all these studies saying that if you...
But we've got 2 weeks to flatten it, so it's fine.
We'll get back on track eventually. The CDC accepted multiple studies done before 2020 stating that if you receive a flu vaccine, your body is prepared and ready to fight mutations of that, at least for a certain extent of time, if not indefinitely. And if you personally receive the virus into your system and are sick from the virus and recover, your body is immune from that virus and prepared to fight any mutation of that virus in the future. Like, I don't know, the flu or chickenpox, or pick a virus that you get and you don't really get it again. At least for a couple of years, if not longer.
Measles, mumps, rubella.
All of them. And the CDC said even if you have had the COVID before, you still need to get a vaccine. And Rand Paul and Massey are calling Bolshevik on that, to the point where Massey recorded phone calls with the CDC to catch them in their own lies. And also, Joe Biden administration is thinking about sending masks to everyone, which I will promptly take out of the package and burn.
We could have a mask burning party. That'd be fun.
And we will post the video, and it'll be fun. We'll make a fun thing out of it.
Are they going to be Biden-Harris masks? Can I get one that's specifically her Joker face?
I hope they plaster anything about them all over that stupid mask, because I will burn the snot out of it.
You're going to use it beforehand?
Well, I mean, if I got to blow my nose, I need something to blow it in.
Free TP.
In certainly something that's not COVID related, except it is, alcohol related deaths are on the rise in the United Kingdom, according to a study, and they link it to the coronavirus pandemic. So people are getting plastered because, I don't know, they lost their jobs, they lost their social life, and they're being told every day that they're going to die from something that they can't see and isn't making sense in how it's being handled.
I read an article today about a guy that committed suicide over Robin Hood.
Yeah, I saw that. Not cool.
That was brutal.
Yep. In kind of I take it as good news. Yelp is now letting people know where all the cool businesses are.
Oh, nice.
They've added a feature. I tried looking at it before, and I think I used Yelp 10 years ago when they first came out.
Yelp is still a thing.
Exactly. You two are still living. But they've added a feature that you can rate a business on its COVID protocol. So they did it as a way to try to encourage people to go to the ones that are, following all the COVID safety measures. I take that as
people are using it the other way around.
Exactly.
This one doesn't have. This place is so bad it doesn't make you wear a mask or anything. Hey, honey, I know where we're going to dinner tonight.
That's where all the cool businesses are.
Away we go.
If you get red flagged for COVID, I am visiting.
Yeah, somebody wrote a Yelp review about how awful our COVID-19 restrictions are. Next day, our business doubled. It was
ran out of food.
We ran out of food. Never done that before. 15 years in business. First time.
Never had these kinds of profits. And of course, we all love our doctors and nurses and everything that they do, especially when they tell us that you just should die because you're not wearing a mask. Yeah, there's a prominent doctor on the Twitterverse. I tried exploring his Twitter to see what else he posted about, especially about a year ago. He said nothing at all until March, or he deleted things. Until
I've personally considered deleting Twitter. All of it, the whole thing.
Just pull the plug.
Pull the plug. Not worth it.
Oh darn. Oh no, it's gone.
The world would be happier.
Much. But yeah, so he tweeted out there's a video of a grocery store in Florida where the store doesn't have plexiglass.
Was it a TikTok of him dancing?
No, he didn't have
it's
time
not
for
worth
that
watching.
because he was too busy complaining about people who were just trying to live a normal life.
Oh, was he the prick that was following the lady through the store? Why isn't she wearing a mask?
No, he wasn't that one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's this video that shows a grocery store in Florida that there's no mask. There's not really any mask being worn by not just the staff, but also patrons. And there's no plexiglass in between the checkout stands. There's a person here or there that has a mask on. On the front of the door, it says, masks are required unless you have a medical exemption, in which case we don't ask you about your medical stuff because that's your personal business, not ours. As it should be. Yeah. And so nobody wears masks going into the store.
I don't think they're legally allowed to ask you what your medical exception is.
Nope. Something about HIPAA. That was written by the Democrats.
Well,
but yeah, he got a little upset at that, and he said these people should just die and should be last in line to receive the vaccine.
it's very saintly of you.
I can't wait to have to go to that.
That
doctor.
man should get a Nobel Peace Prize,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what to call this. This is the wait what category. We did a couple.
I have posted a couple of those this week.
We did a couple of them. It was the firearm thing, AOC. Trump only became president because he wanted to enrich himself, which is why he is worth half as much as he was before he became president. He enriched himself that much.
Wait, so math, and you carry the... Huh. That makes mathematical sense.
Yes.
It's
One
good
plus
business
one is 5.
practice.
1 plus 1 is 5.
Right.
And then a racist pander whore, Representative Dean Phillips. I mentioned this earlier with AOC, but he did his little I almost died speech on the House floor for their little kumbaya session.
I almost died.
And at one point he says, there was a point where I was yelling to my colleagues to run to the Republican side, so we can blend in. And then I realized some of my colleagues of color would not be able to blend in with the Republicans. And I wept or something, I don't know. Which I thought...
My daughter said, Daddy, I don't want to come back to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Good. And you shouldn't either, Dad. Yeah, I just thought, somewhere around 20 senators and representatives who have an R next to their name would take a little bit of offense to that because they are people of color, I believe is the phrase they like to use. Burgess Owens being one of them, who is a representative and very black. And also
from Utah.
And from Utah. And in a side note, he told the NFL to pound sand until you figure out how to actually be Americans. So I like him.
And they made a step in the right direction during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. According to the AP, home surveillance is dangerous now. So if you have security cameras for your house, that's dangerous to have that. Because...
why?
Well, see, when the FBI did a raid on a child porn guy in Florida, he had a Ring doorbell, and they believe he used that to ambush the FBI when they came to his door. So it's dangerous to have home security because you could use that to see when people are coming to your front door and do things.
I mean, it had crossed my mind that if Breonna Taylor had had a Ring doorbell, they would have been able to tell whether or not the police announced when they walked through the door or not. But, whatever.
A climate official in Massachusetts said that we're going to break your will over emissions to make you comply with green energy stuff.
Oh, yeah,
so
that thing again.
That's fun. And the Democrats are pushing for reform on Section 230.
Hum now? Wait. What?
It's bad when Republicans want to push for reform on 230, but when Democrats want to do it, it's fine because it's telling these tech giants that are contributing to the reforms that the Democrats are pushing, it's telling them to do things a certain way so that, what was that article we read at the beginning from Time Magazine? Something related to words in that article. On the Biden front, John Kerry said he needs his private jet to fly to Iceland to receive an award for being so green and saving the environment.
John Kerry's still around?
Yeah, and he's the climate guy for the administration, so he'll be here for at least a year.
Kerry Nye, the climate guy.
Biden, there's no conflict of interest here for Biden, who tapped an ex-colleague of Hunter Biden's lawyer to run the DOJ criminal division, who is currently investigating Hunter Biden.
No, there's no conflict. None.
Yeah. Congress noticed that Grassley and Johnson are asking a few questions about that connection. And that's probably about as far as it'll go. Reopening closed border detention centers for children because, of course.
No more children in cages. No more children in cages. We're voting for Biden, so there's no more children in... He did what?
Hey, yeah, Donald Trump closed this facility, and now Biden is reopening this facility so that it can house children that are being taken across the border. And the administration says it's because a lot of these people crossing the border take children with them as a means to make it so they're less suspicious crossing the border and the children don't actually belong to the people crossing.
I mean, you want to talk about problems with human trafficking and
if Donald Trump approached it in that regard, I think the border would be a lot better than it is right now. Oh, it was better than it is right now.
Way better.
Because that's exactly why he did what he did with the border and emphasized getting children back to their parents, because children were separated from the adults coming in because the adults were using the children to get into the country and they didn't actually belong to those adults. And then the parents didn't actually want the children back when his administration tried to get the children back to the parents.
About that.
But it's okay. There's only a couple of thousand people caravans on their way to the United States, so it's fine. It's fine.
Just a couple thousand.
It's fine.
It's not a big. It's just a couple thousand. It's not a big deal.
The White House accidentally confirmed that Hunter Biden is still doing business in China.
Accidentally?
I believe the question from the reporter was something to the effect of, "Is Hunter Biden still in business in China?" or something like that. And
Psaki
said, "I believe he is."
I said to be fair to her because she's just the messenger. I repeal that.
She dumb.
I will make a crow dinner for that one. She is.
That did not take long.
Just wow.
She responded to some
you don't have to make fun of her looks and stuff, though they are kind of goofy. But
do you understand the words that are coming from your mouth?
Wow.
Yeah, she said something to the effect of Hunter is something about fixing his ties there or something like that. So he is doing business in China, or I'll have to defer you to his personal team. And maybe you should have started with that.
I'm gonna have to circle back. Circle back to you.
She is trying so hard to not say that now.
I'm gonna swing back around to that one eventually.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
I'm gonna have to check that out and let you know.
Joe Biden is rocking the Catholic support still.
He still has Catholic support?
Yeah, he said some things at the prayer breakfast that some Catholic leaders didn't quite enjoy. Let's see if I can find real quick a little snippet of what was in question. It's important to also remember that President Biden does not speak for Catholics or the church. In fact, he explicitly departs from many of the church's non-negotiable beliefs and teachings. For this reason, the Catholic bishops of the United States have rightly pointed to deep concerns about Biden's policies that would, quote, advance moral evils, end quote, on issues such as marriage, family, religious liberty, and blah, 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 which we talked about before. This is just more of them saying, no. And then Russia and Ukraine documents are still classified, even though they were ordered to be declassified.
That's not suspicious at all.
No. So you admit that there's damning evidence for probably the President of the United States on there and his son?
You would have to.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
Yeah. It's so you admit there's incriminating evidence. No, we just can't because it's still under investigation. Because there's incriminating evidence or because there's not?
I never broke the law! I am the law!
Yeah. In this one, you have no power here. Do it. Gandalf the Grey. Kentucky governor, not the KY governor, but Kentucky governor.
I literally thought this was a governor of lube for some reason the first time I saw this.
He he's suing the state legislature for removing his COVID powers.
Do it.
Hey, you guys can't do that. Yeah, we just did because we are the Senate, not you. The Wisconsin legislature has repealed the governor's mask mandate.
Do it.
To which he promptly did another mandate an hour after they repealed his.
They might be trying to screw me.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
And South Dakota has submitted legislation that will allow it to ignore unconstitutional executive orders from the President of the United States.
Stop, don't come back.
I'm a move to South Dakota right quick.
Right quick. That's right quick. It's time to go.
And then in some riot-related stuff, Senator Hawley's wife is suing Antifa riot organizer that were protesting outside their house and threatened them with their lives. And the court said, yeah, I think you got a case. Antifa rioted in D.C. and the National Guard was nowhere.
Nowhere to be found.
Several thousand National Guard troops, and none of them were controlling the Antifa riots in D.C. Just a couple days ago.
Huh. That's interesting. It's almost as if...
Because it's all part of the plan.
FBI and D.C. police... I did that wrong. That is
wrong.
Wow. FBI and D.C. police knew about violent threats before January 6th. And no, this is not the one we did last week. This is a different thing of them saying, yeah, we knew about these actual violent threats days beforehand. Did you tell anyone? Pelosi decided it's more convenient to walk around the security measures that she put in place. And so she's being called out for that and demanding that she pay the fine that she's trying to make other people pay that have done the same thing. And a bonus, Candace Owens has said she's most likely running for president, thinking about running for president. I have mixed feelings on that one, but we'll see what happens.
I'd vote for over a second term of Biden. I mean, seriously. Okay,
it's a low bar.
Her or the dementia years of Herbert the pervert. That's what you get.
I'll take her.
I'll take her.
She's not my first choice, but I'm open.
Are you a freshman in the university?
Because one thing I think will happen with Candace Owens is she'll be much like Donald Trump and not take any BS from most people. And then on top of that, she's got she's black.
And she's a woman. I would, honestly, from what I know of Candace's political standings and her policy ideas, I'd vote for her.
Yeah, I'm probably like 80% there.
And
ish.
I wouldn't have any qualms about it. Be great.
And
I actually would feel pretty all right about her being the first black woman president. It'd be great.
Yeah. And a large part of me that favors that is just exploring how the left
would try to tear her down.
Yeah, because they can't use the race card on her, especially after they've built up this whole thing around Black Lives Matter.
Do it, and you can't make me.
That's true. So they can't use that, and then she's a woman, so you can't really use that against her. So darn.
Do it.
And she used to be liberal. Used to be.
Yep.
Well, I had to be at that there crossroads last midnight. Sell my soul to the devil.
Well, ain't it a small world, spiritually speaking? Pete and Delmer just been baptized and saved. I guess I'm the only one that remains unaffiliated.
Thanks, Rand Paul.
And then you got Michelle over in the corner.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Yeah, I got to check that Times Magazine article again. Do you think she wrote that? It sounds oddly familiar.
Maybe she was under a different name.
All right, well, that's great.
That's what we got. And that was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I also expected it to go long. So
It's all good. It's all good. We're all right. So, in preparation for next week, we've downloaded the new national anthem.
That one. We're ready.
I can't play it for too long because... Oh, wait. Piss off, YouTube.
Of course, we don't know we don't know Rumble rules.
We don't know the Rumble
yet.
rules
We'll figure
and
it
stuff,
out.
so we might not want to let that go too long until we figure that out.
I do know that less than 5 seconds is okay.
Well, I think that was less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. My perception of time is skewed.
So yeah, we'll post this as usual.
After this first year of Biden being president.
We'll post this as usual, but we'll also post it elsewhere, as well as links to all our other stuff at our old places. So
And
you can
our
find us thusly.
new places and all the fun things.
Yep.
So as a reminder on that, we are now going to be on Odyssey, Rumble, and Gab, as well as our usual Twitter, Facebook.
We do
YouTube.
nothing with Twitter other than automatically post the podcast.
Twitter just automatically posts the podcast.
And again, if you are still listening, thank you. But if you can not listen through YouTube and listen through another media source, such as a podcast.
You mean not listen through Facebook?
Not listen through Facebook, yes.
Yes. You can listen through YouTube. YouTube has its own algorithm for the video with views and all that.
Yeah.
Which, if you like the videos, watch the videos.
Yeah.
Or you can watch them on Rumble or Odyssey. We would prefer Odyssey because that one might actually benefit us at some point.
Yeah. Well, both of them will. Rumble's got a better built-in paid subscription thing than YouTube does.
Yes. And our one video that we did so far for the Slices of History will be going up on both of those, Rumble and Odyssey.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll throw that up on both Rumble and Odyssey with no
which
paywall.
We'll see which one does better. Then we'll
It
probably
will
just
not
post them
go
there.
up on YouTube, though, because
They don't deserve it.
screw YouTube.
Screw YouTube. Screw tube.
Screw tube!
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So, as usual, like, comment, subscribe, ring the little notification bells, share, do all those fun things.
Find a new platform to listen to us if you're on Facebook.
I actually really suggest Gab. I'm really loving Gab so far.
Well, I mean for podcasts.
Well, yeah, for podcasts and stuff, yeah. You got podcast and all that stuff you can guys go look at. But if you're also looking for an alternative social media, I suggest Gab. Of all of the social medias that I've tried, Gab is my favorite non-mainstream one. So there's that. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Cool. Well,
carry on.
My wayward son?
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
I would like to point out the discovery I made about Biden today.
Which is?
The one that I told you.
Okay. You're saving it for the actual episode so you can make sure it's actually in the episode and doesn't get edited out because this is the pre-episode that you're...
Yes.
Exactly. Now this is going in the episode.
This is going in the episode. And the other part is getting edited out. That's what we're doing now.
That just happened.
Nothing inside the episode is safe any longer.
I am Jack Dorsey. I'm Troy McClure.
Wait, how do you use that as a verb? I got jacked or I got Dorsey'd?
Yes. I got JD'd.
Did you say GD'd or JD'd?
JD'd.
like JD from Scrubs, or
I got JD'd. You just got Dorsey'd.